All right, everybody, check this out. Got a Camaro over here. Fixing to do a big block swap. Going from a, I think it's a 468 to a 502. Yeah, this is Tracy's. We'll do that, do a few other things. Freshen her up, make everything good. I was going to wait, start on it in the morning, but I think I'm going to go ahead and do it right now.
Do what?
I'll trade you straight up.
Where's the oil pressure stuff? Oil pressure. Everything good. Engine's running good.
Yeah, she said she'll trade you straight up for her old Lucy out there.
All right, you cut off. Good deal. Fire it back up one more time. I just want video of it starting and running and everything. All right, good deal. All right, labeling everything before I start taking stuff loose. I might just go ahead and pick it up on the lift and look underneath to see what I can take loose there. Probably need to go ahead and get all the wire and stuff disconnected that I can. Disconnect fuel lines, disconnect the EFI unit, all that stuff. All right, been working on her about an hour and 40 minutes now, and I've got everything off that I can probably get off up here. Now I need to get underneath the car. All right, got the exhaust and stuff off of it, got the trans fluid drained. Now I'm going to probably, well, I got to do dry shaft, and then I'm gonna get up there, lower it back down, take the shifter loose, and do the cross member and drop the sucker on out of here. Got to drop trans out, then I can do the engine. All right, just got the trans out, and his throwout bearing, the seals come apart in it. This that seals the bearing in there. That's come out. All right, I'm pulling her out. This thing was a bit of a fight, actually. More of a fight than I expected, but she's coming out. All right, let's get the starter off, bell housing off, and get her on a stand. All right, well, I got her out of there, and I was just looking, the throwout bearing was installed wrong. These clips, and it's eat into it right there. These clips is actually supposed to go on the inside of that, and then that bearing seal is come out of it. But she's out of there, and I didn't scratch nothing. Woo!
Good.
Yeah. I'm gonna finish taking the rest of this stuff off of it. All right, I brought her up on top dead center on compression stroke. Make sure everything is marked. Distributor is marked. The distributor has not moved, but it's marked in case it does get moved. She should be good. All right, well, all the wires is labeled. I put a label to everything, and I fished it back through. Should have filmed it beforehand. I believe that he is getting the Hyperspark system with his Holley Sniper 2 on his crate motor. So this could probably be deleted. Probably have to keep the coil, but this could be deleted. Pretty sure. I need to call him and ask him. But I was on the phone with Tracy for about 40 minutes, and it's 7 something now, 7:15 now. I was on the phone with Tracy for 40 minutes. Man, Dude, that dude is so funny, so cool to talk to. Man, it's awesome. So you got such a cool car with such a cool owner. It's awesome, man. Him and his wife are just good people. Awesome folks. So funny, man. It's very rare you come across folks that it's that easy to talk to, and you got you can relate to what they got going on. It's pretty awesome. Dude's just loving life and loving his car and just having a good time. That's pretty awesome. But I finally got the Terminator. It's not a Terminator X. It's a Holly Terminator box. I got that out, and I got the MSD box out. It's all late. See, there's MSD box, and there's the Terminator box over there for the Terminator EFI. I just got to finish feeding the wires out from underneath, and then I should have everything out in the morning. And then we will go from there. Shoot you. I'm actually enjoying this. I'm spending a good bit of time on it, but I'm enjoying working on this car. A lot of times when you do this work, it feels like work. This just kind of feels, it's enjoyable. I like that. All right. All the wiring is out. Everything's labeled. I put his MSD box in. What's funny? So I was like, all right, I got the box out. He says, well, the box stays with me. I was like, well, all right. He says, can you mount it back where it was? I told him where I'd mount that sucker. Oh, that thing was up under the dash. I've never seen, it was insane. It took me forever to get that out of there. So awful. But I got her. But yeah, I told him where he can mount it, all right, where I would put it. Pretty funny. But there is everything all back like it was. So this thing is ready to go to her new home. I'll probably pull that hose off. Shouldn't leak nothing, I don't think. I pulled the throwout bearing out of this thing, and this is why you got to install throwout bearings the right way. Check this out. See where it's eat in? It's eat in right there. Eat in down yonder. And up top. And that's come apart. But this is the craziest thing. Look at that movement. Look at that. It's crazy. I'm surprised this thing didn't come apart. Alright, man, I had a custom wrench to make this work, but that's welded together. But yeah, that sucked trying to get to them bolts. Well, that's why I welded mine in, because I chopped them off and welded them in. But yeah, you got to go up through there, and down through there, and it's so hard to get to that stuff. But I got the new mounts in. These are the correct big block motor mounts, so hopefully that don't screw up the alignment of the clutch fork, clutch arm, or screw up the alignment of the transmission or any of that kind of stuff. Hopefully everything stays good. But yeah, they're pretty drastically different. It moves everything that direction. So, all right, I zip tied these balls to the front of Jim's truck. I'm gonna see how long it takes him to find them. See how long he drives around with a sack hanging out the front of his truck before he realizes there's a sack hanging in his truck. But what's cool is they'll blow in the wind. All right, the engine showed up. Pretty cool. I find it odd that they use these red. Should have put black on it, but he's going to change valve covers and stuff. I'm guessing this is that's got to be the Sniper. 650 horse natural aspirated. Be cool if you could boost it. Alright, getting everything cleaned up and everything masked off. I got to pull the steering box off and all that, but I'm going to do that after I get the car out, paint the engine bay, get it back in, then I'll pull all that off. But I'm fixing to roll her outside and let her set in the sun. That way this thing will warm up. It ain't going to be that warm today. I think it's going to be 50 today, which is a lot better than the teens and 20s that it has been. But I'm gonna roll her out there and let it start warming up. All right, man, that sucked. But I got her. It's gonna, as this dries, it's gonna flatten out a little bit more. So I'm gonna let this first coat tack up real good and dry, and then I'll come in for a second coat on everything. All right, so the engine was orange. Now it's black. The orange just wasn't gonna work. All right, steering box stuff is on and indexed. See that groove, and that groove lines up with that groove and that groove. The mark and the mark and the mark. A mark there. Steering wheel is perfectly straight. So I'll take this, slip this back on, tighten everything down, and that should be good to go. All right, I had to take the pitman arm and everything off in order to get that thing lined back up and go back on, but there we go. Brand new steering box and everything. Cool. All right, I had to polish into this because there was a big old, right there, there's a big old raised spot where this thing had dug into the old pilot bushing, and the material was stuck to it, so I had to polish all that up to get this thing to fit smooth like that. So still want it binding up. Got the flywheel on, flywheel bolts, blue Loctite, torqued to 65 foot-pounds, like they're supposed to be. There's blue Loctite, but yeah, pilot bushing is in and square and all that good stuff. Had to clearance fix the bad places on the transmission input shaft so that it would slide into the pilot bushing with no problems. So now I'm gonna clean this flywheel off real good, then do the clutch. All right, I went ahead and just mocked all this up. Water pump stuff's tight. This might have to relocate to that side, or we have to have a turn come up for the water to the heater core. But everything else looks like it's going to work, going to line up. This balancer is a coarse thread, and the bolts they sent with that are fine thread, which most balancers are fine thread, but for some reason this one's coarse thread. So I'm going to use header bolts because I got a small head on them, a 3/8 head or a 7/16 head, and that'll work fine. But yeah, fixing to introduce this engine to this Camaro. All right, here we go. I'm gonna pull the valve cover off, I believe. All right, I got it in there, and then I had to change mount stuff, pull it back out, then just drop it back in. She is in there now. Everything looks good. All right, we got her sitting down in there. All right, I got her sitting down in there. Looks good. Got blocks of wood back there in the corners, keeping pressure on everything so I can get it up on the lift and get the stand underneath it. All right, he decided to order a scatter shield, so I'm gonna hold off and wait, and when the scatter shield shows up, I'll jump back on this. I gotta put the jack underneath the car, but the engine will be down probably about 1 inch lower than that. I just got it up like that because them blocks of wood holding her in place. But yeah, I gotta take the clutch and stuff back off and the flywheel back off, and then I'll put all that back on after the scatter shield shows up, because kind of got to, because there's a plate on that scatter shield that goes right yonder. All right, scatter shield and stuff has arrived. The sucker's brand new. Boy, he paid almost $1,000 for this freaking scatter shield. So I'm pulling the clutch and stuff off and get the scatter shield on there. All right, we got the plate on pick the flywheel back up, and car's gonna put a bolt in there for me. Yes. See, blue Loctite on every bolt. You gotta put Loctite on these flywheel, even flex plate. You gotta put Loctite on them. I know they got those little lock washers and stuff, but you gotta put Loctite on there too. Always have, always will. All right, everything torqued and marked. 65 foot-pounds. Scatter shield and all that stuff is in. All the bolts are in. I did have to use a 3/8, 9/16 head bolt in that corner because you can't get those Allen heads in it. There's just no way. And I need to put a 3/8, 9/16 head up there in the center because you can't get a Allen head up there either. But that's all in there. I'm gonna have to put a dent, small dent. There's already one place right there. I need to make a small dent right there. Just knock it back just a little bit. But we're getting there. I should finish it up tomorrow, hopefully. Luckily, I didn't put the trans and stuff in yet. I wanted to get the header fit first before I did anything else. I got the steering box loose. It's dangling. Now I have to pick the block up, the engine up, to get this header to go down in between there. So we'll see if that'll do it. Good Lord, man, that's the worst I've ever. That was awful. I got it. Man, that was terrible. Had to jack the car up, jack the engine up, push on the engine. You know, my shoulder's screwed up anyway real bad. I had to just keep pushing and wriggling. I had to take the steering box. I mean, it was crazy, but it's in there. I'll be able to pull it up now and fix everything. That was awful. This is how a throwout bearing is supposed to go in. The guy that put it in before, that's why that throwout bearing was bad, he stuck this flange in between there. These clips have to go in between that like that. They have to go on the inside like that. Not like this. They don't clamp that. They go on the inside. So keep that in mind, folks. I know most people know how to put in a throwout bearing, but some don't. If you do it wrong, it's bad. All right, trans is in. Sure, man. It's tight, boy. That is a tight fit, tight like a tiger. You know what's funny? This Blueprint break-in oil, it's a straight 30 weight. Looks just like Steve Morris's Smoil. Same color, everything. Wonder if it's the same stuff. Looks like it to me. This is Smoil. I make car parts for the American working man because that's what I am and that's what I care about. Finish filling up the filter. Alright, got that header and stuff in, exhaust. Well, got that header and stuff in, which was a nightmare. Starter's in, all the Z-bar stuff is fixed, filter's on, all that stuff's done, all the steering's back on it. Oil pressure line and all that stuff, had to make all that now. That should be good now. Drive shaft, transmission, scatter shield, clutch, pressure plate, Z-bar, speedo, cross member, drive shaft, all that good stuff. So fixing to lower her down and start on the top side. I got to do wiring and the sniper and radiator and valve covers and a bunch of other stuff. So getting there. All right, I had to remove the header all the way again. The trick, it can be done without picking the motor up. I just figured that out. It still is awful. You gotta take everything loose. You gotta turn the steering all the way to the passenger side. Take the valve cover off. This can all stay put, which is a huge surprise. But it's very, 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 very tight. But then you gotta take the steering, take the Pitman arm off of the drag bar, take the steering box loose, and you got to move the steering box as you push and pull, and that header has to come straight and you got to pull it. And I was able to get it back out because, man, they look awful. So I'm going to clean them up and paint them and put them back in there. And plus, I was able to take the hammer and put a real dent in that sucker. because it just kept hitting the steering box no matter what I did. I tried to massage it and pull it down a little bit, tap it, hit it. But it takes a pretty good while to get that out of there. Like, you gotta take all this stuff off. Had to take the wiper motor off the firewall, pull the valve cover, and then take the steering and stuff loose, turned all the way that direction, so that's out of the way. But it can be done. I didn't think it could, but I'm putting dents in these things. Like, I'm denting this tube up further and that one up further so that it will slide in between there. So I'm having to make this fit to where it'll come in and out. But it just sucks because I end up scratching the freaking paint stuff that I did on the engine bay, trying to get this thing in and out so many times. But it's all good. I'm gonna put a weld right there because that spot looks a little questionable. I'm gonna put a little weld on it and flapper disc it, and then I'll clean these up and paint them because they look awful like that. All right, the paint's drying. It'll actually dry flat like all the rest of that. But I welded up a few places, made them thicker, and smoothed that out. Shot paint on these because they just looked awful. So they're probably gonna get scuffed up and they're probably gonna smoke when you first fire it up, but we needed a lot more clearance and they needed to be painted. All right, now that header fits perfect. It fits so good. It clears everything really, really well now. I was able to get the header bolts in easily, just so. And it looks much better painted. Pull these plugs out of the blueprint. They ain't a drop of anti-seize on them suckers. Way to go, Blueprint. All right, I'm gonna paint this black. Got all that wiring tidied up, cool and stuff. I had to redo the coolant, well, not the coolant, the water temp. Had to move this to this side, had to take it out of that engine so that would adapt to it, and put that on this side, and then put the sniper temp sensor over here. All right, I got to looking around, and Dennis had a 45, so I put that on there and turned it back and put the line on it. That's much better. That is much better, I think. All right, 180 degree Murray thermostat. This is a thermostat. That's part number. All right, I'm trying to make this alternator bracket that's made for up here work down here. I think if I drill a hole right there, run another one of these through right into there, and this actually adjusts. It'll come all the way up to here and adjust all the way down. Has about a 1/2 inch of tension on it. Use zip ties to measure for the belt that I might need. So I'll run that all the way back up, tighten down the zip tie, take everything loose, and measure it. Give me a general idea. But I think that'll work because we'll have one belt. This will be shimmed out so that it lines up with this pulley. That'll line up with that pulley, and then this will have one pulley that goes from the balancer to the water pump. So if you ever throw the alternator belt, the water pump keeps turning. So I have two belts on it. One here to here and there to there. I think I can make that work. All right, that worked out great. I'm gonna paint these spacers black. All right, there we go. Now it looks good. I was gonna change out of the bolt, but I'm not going to because I think that'll work just fine. Should work good, look good, all that stuff. So call it good. All right, I had to put that little fan piece on it. I forgot that. But there you go. Sucker looks pretty awesome. The whole deal looks good. He should be happy with it. Check out throttle. That should work good. I got the belt situation figured out. Water pump and crank is 7312 and alternator is 7304. The alternator modifications that I made to those brackets and everything else allowed me to tension that belt. Oh, so nice. Everything's gonna work great. And this, once I hook the starter and stuff back up, I'll hold that down, bump it, and that'll fit tight, but not too tight and not too loose. Should be just about perfect. And that way, if you ever throw the alternator belt, the water pump keeps turning and it will not overheat. That's when you have one single belt, you run a risk of that happening if you over RPM it or whatever else. And then check out that alignment, man. That alignment is dead on. Thanks to some shims and washers and shimming that, and take your time and get all that stuff right, and it'll usually work. But yeah, this is a mount that's supposed to be up here, but I modified it and made it work down there. So saved him about probably $200 buying another bracket and stuff. So cool. All right, got the old pump off. This is just one of them Walbro GSL 392. It's a 255 liter per hour. 255 liter. It's only got about 550, 600 horse. They say 6 to 670, but that's too close. This thing made peak power at 650. So putting a bigger, better fuel pump on it than this. All right, I got the fuel system all plumbed in. A new fuel pump on. Jim's up here checking everything out. Seeing how much more money he can cost him.
Heck yeah.
There's a filter run up.
I can already see a couple grand more.
Yeah, Tracy told me, you see Jim coming, lock the doors and turn off the lights. But yeah, comes out right there, goes to that filter, then that line runs up to the pump, and then should work good. Just got to make one more line coming from the regulator to the sniper, and we'll be set. All right, I had to make a Z-bar spring. Well, this is the correct Z-bar spring. The way it was run went from here to the actual Z-bar from the clutch fork, which is not right. So I took a piece of co-hanger and twisted it up real tight right there and run it down, twist around that, and drilled a hole in the motor mount, hooked it. So now that this will return, as soon as you let go of the clutch, it'll return back where it needs to go. So, cool. That should work. All right. So we come out of the tank, through that filter, up through that line, down into the pump. So we got plenty of clearance there. We got a lot of gap. Through the pump, I made this line curve around so that the emergency brake system would still work and not rub that line or anything like that. Then we run down to the filter, go across the frame to the outside, and we're all tied in here, all the way down the frame, up to the sniper. I think, nope, I still gotta do the ground on the gas tank. Still gotta ground that sucker. And then I'll be down under the car, I think. All right, there we go. That looks much, much, much better. Much better. I routed it back around that way. Pulled the return out of the regulator, swapped sides, and I took a black paint marker and painted that, and I'll do the one up here too. I'll black that out, but swap sides, run that back there, put a zip tie there with a gap in between it to kind of keep it off of the heater core line, then run back over the valve cover, over the intake, turned up, so they're both turned up about the same. So I think it looks pretty good. I could probably tilt that one up just a little bit so they have about the same angle, but I don't really need to. Looks good. All right, I'm wiring all this stuff up. I always label everything that I put in new. See, inside there, with my blue tape. That way you can always go back and backtrack if you need to. But there's a main 12 volt switch, 12 volt big gauge wire that comes out and goes over to here, and I'm tapping into that. This will power the sniper, switch 12 volt, the tack, and the distributor. All right, I rearranged the PCV and the brake booster deal. Put the PCV up here going into this inlet, took that pipe fitting out, put a barb in it. So now that goes up into there. Put clamps on it so there's no vacuum leaks. And then I used a piece of leftover high pressure line for back here with clamps. So this will go to there, and we'll pull vacuum on the brake booster with no leaks or anything. So that'll work for there, and that'll work for there, because you can't tee a PCV like how that was done. The PCV was teed into the signal for the brake booster. The booster needs its own separate signal, and the PCV needs its own. So they just work better this way. Nothing's contaminated. It's good. So, and it looks neat. Don't look all cobbled up. And Blueprint requires a specific oil for their engines for the break-in period. So here you go, Blueprint. This is your oil going in your engine. There it is. Got a whole bunch of this stuff, so I'm gonna put the camera down and put the phone down and fill her up. Okay, so Blueprint sent this for the coil. This does not work for a HEI style coil for a post. It's only for the female version where you can stick it in. See right there? So I didn't have, I might have one somewhere. I don't know. I can't. It's going to take me longer to find it than it will be for me just to take this plug wire, take the boot and stuff off it, put it on that coil wire for that distributor, and just make it work. So, got to do that real quick. All right, revision to my earlier statement. The 7304 works great for the alternator, but the 7312 is just too tight. So, gonna go get another one. This is just, I'll just throw this in my pile. I'll just keep it for whatever. Because it kind of boogered it up a little bit. Trying to get it on there. Just a smidge too tight. But the battery and everything's hooked up and everything works. Fuel pump come on, everything's working. So I just can't put the radiator and stuff in until I get this belt on to make sure that's gonna work. I did have one fuel leak in the back. Hopefully we fix that. Hopefully I fix that. I keep saying we. It's because I'm talking to all you people out there. But yeah, so I'm kind of at a standstill. I guess I can put the stuff back under the dash. I can put that up. I'll do that real quick. But yeah, we'll run and get a belt and going to get the synchro mesh and the coolant for this thing. So I'll tell you what really sucks is all this is done and that throttle bracket on the firewall. Same way on my car, same way on Dennis's car. The spline in it is rotated. That's why his pedal ain't never felt right. He don't have no pedal travel. So in order to fix that, man, I got to get back behind that engine and probably weld that stud like I did on my car. You weld it, it ain't never gonna move again. You get in there with the bolts and tighten it up more, and it'll hold for a while. Then it'll break again. The splines just rotate. So I'll see if I can get to it with some wrenches. I don't think I can, but might have to just stand inside the engine bay and lean over the backside and weld that place up, which sucks. There just ain't no room. I can't see. Oh well, it is what it is. I should have checked that when I had the motor out, but oh well. All right, I was able to do it, man. God, that's nerve-wracking. Getting in there, everything's disconnected, so it doesn't hurt nothing. Man, I spent so much time cleaning and painting and making all this stuff nice. Then I got to climb in there and weld. Ugh. And that's flux core, so flux core puts that white, that grayish cloud on everything. But I was able to get her. It ain't going to come apart now, and it ain't going to change. It's welded. There we go, just like that. All right, had to get a different belt. This one fit great. This one you seen just now. Put on there, bumped it, went right on. So this is the one for the water pump, and this is the one for the alternator. And you can see both are on and nice and got plenty of tension. We'll be fine, we're good. All right, putting the coolant in it. Had to make this top radiator hose, cut it, put a piece of pipe in it, twist it and line it up to where it would work. And once I got it to where it fit, this is just too tall. It's gonna hit the hood. The hose where it comes out is gonna hit the hood. If that thing was shorter with the same angle, it would have been fine, but it's just too tall. So I got the old one, cleaned it up real good, painted it, sealing new gaskets and stuff on it, and that's sitting over there drying. But this is the best way I've ever found to put coolant in an engine. I usually put 2 gallons in like this, and then I put the thermostat housing and all that stuff back on, and then fill up the radiator. But that way, you know, you got 2 gallons in the block, and you can watch it start to fill up the radiator down there on the bottom. So pretty good, works pretty good. But I have my little special tube and stuff that goes up to my filter. Pretty good setup, seems to work nicely. But it sounds like it's just barely. All right, so I fired this thing up and it had like a little ticking noise. See, I've got to put the bolts back in the valve cover. I just had the valve cover off, pulled it back off to look. There was no signs of touching. I'll put a picture of that in here because I didn't turn the camera on when I pulled it off. But look, everything disconnected. I pulled the valve cover off. And it sounded like a broke plug. Like, you know how when a spark plug, if it got split in, it'll arc to the header or it'll jump. So I was like, well, just check the plugs and see. And it was up towards the front. And number 1 right there. So I'll see if that was it. Well, there she is. There's a lot of work. It looks good. I need to put the cover back on that, and I need to peel all this off, but I won't do that until I know for sure that I am done. Gonna get in there and work on the tune a little bit. But these headers, since I put that paint on them, they're just getting hot, and they're smoking, and then they quit, and they smoke, and they quit. So they'll eventually quit smoking. But engine sounds good. Valve train's a little noisy, but some old link bar roller lifters. But she is pretty good. I do not think the alternator is charging as well as it needs to. There she is. A lot of work, but is what it is, you know. You gotta make it happen. So, get the T-Bird back in here. And, well, I need to get a T-Bird in here. I gotta pull 74 in here. I got so much stuff to do still. But Tracy needed that done ASAP. So I jumped on it, knocked it out for him, and should be good. Should be cool. Alright, I finally got the hinges and stuff done. They look much better. Alright, so I need something to hold that sniper in place, the handheld. So I made this out of a little piece of sheet metal. It'll slide in, that side's still loose, so it'll fold out. It'll slide in place. Then I'll pop rivet that, and then the handheld will be able to slide in and out of it. I'll show you where it goes here in just a second. There's that. Man, it's kind of hard to see. I don't know what I've done with my light. Ugh. Anyway, mounted this here. It's got a piece of sheet metal behind it and a pop rivet to it, so it's good. It ain't going nowhere. So this slides right up in there. Won't be flying around the car. You'll be able to look down and see it. So there we go. And you can still pull it out and play with the tune or whatever if you want to. All right, Dad, come over here, help him put the hood and stuff on. He's gonna have to put his bigger hood on. But everything in there looks pretty awesome. Lots and lots and lots of work to get to this point. But
Hell of a job.
she seems good. Everything seems all right.
Hard to see all the work that goes into something, but it's a lot.
Well, you'll see it in the video. Well, there's some stuff that you just don't film, just the monotonous, all the little things. But I'm gonna hop in there and fire her up. He's gonna come get it tomorrow. That is the plan, I do believe. But this hood won't clear. So he's got a bigger, he's got a 4-inch cow. Tracy took his Camaro home. Now it's back. I'm gonna paint that breather and stuff. That chrome is not gonna work, so I'm gonna paint that. But he took it home, put a different hood on it. You can see now we got a cowl, a big cowl that clears everything nicely, which is awesome. But the steering, the rag joint touched the header, and when you go to turn, it goes. So I'm gonna try to take the rag joint bolts out, clearance them, put them back in, and that should make it clear, because I've tried to get down into where the header is. And I don't think I can get to it enough to put a big enough dent in it. So we'll try something different. But he said it ran and drive great. Everything felt awesome. It looks 100,000 times better than what it did when it showed up here. So it's pretty awesome. I'm glad Tracy's happy. He just needs to get out and drive her, put some miles on it. The only way you ever going to figure out issues with anything is to get out and drive them. That's what you got to do. You got to put some miles on them. And even everything being brand new, who was it I was dealing with before? I did a whole car for somebody one time, and like, I don't understand how this is. It keeps having issues. Everything's brand new. That's the nature of hot rods. You can buy the best of the best, brand new everything, and still have issues. I mean, that's why you got to put the miles on them. That's why you got to get out and drive them. And this phone never shuts up. My God. But so I took it out, drove it home. Felt great aside from the steering touching, and so I brought it back. So I'm gonna fix that and readjust the steering wheel. So that's what I'm gonna do. All right, pull this out and clean it. Now I got to rotate around and do the other side. All right, just wiggle it back and forth. All right, this is moving free and fine. I got everything cleared, so it clears the steering now. The steering clears the header. But there's like this, feels like there's a weird spot in the steering column. Yeah, it's in the column. It ain't down here, because do that again. Just rock it back and forth. Yeah, look at the wheels turning. Wheels is turning, that's turning, everything's turning, so it's in the column. All right. That's what I thought. All right, cool, thank you.
I know, I probably got it.
Jim put you some fuzzy dice in there. You're lucky it's not a ball sack hanging from the mirror.
Get the hole, you shoot it there.
That's pretty great. Oh, that's funny. All right, I got the hood figured out. Oh, my shoulder just sucks. Oh my God. Loosened these, slid this forward, adjusted this pin to the right dimensions that it needed to be so that it goes down there and actually latches. So now it latches right down in there, all good. It's fiberglass. Fiberglass don't never fit perfect, but that fits pretty good. All right, so I think there's something wrong with this fuel pump. I've put these pumps on a lot of cars, and they've done fine. I've never heard one as loud as that one is. It is insane how loud that sucker is. And it just, like, it sounds like it keeps losing prime. So we might do the Walbro 396, which is good to 750 horse at 60 PSI. But this Holley does not sound right. It very much sounds very, I don't know. It's just like, and it shouldn't be doing that. I've never had one do that before. So, I don't know. All right, so I got the pump off. It ain't no good. There's something wrong with that pump. You're gonna ship it back, and you done ordered a different one. So I will pick this thing up further higher tomorrow, and I will replace the lines and go back to a Walbro style pump, and that's how it'll be. So I'm calling it for tonight. That's a wrap. All right, so since we're getting a different fuel pump, and I've got the Walbro, the old pump, to come off the car. Where'd I put it? I got it laying here somewhere. It needs to be as low, it needs to be as close to the fuel tank as possible and as low as possible so that it will continuously pull fuel. I think he was having a hard time starting this thing before I did any of this stuff, back when it was the old combination, the old engine, the old EFI. I think he was having a hard time getting it to start sometimes, like he had to cycle the key over and over again to get it to prime, because I think the pump mounted up here was losing prime because it was too high and too far away. So building a bracket to go across here. I'm gonna mount the pump here. I know that don't look center of the rear end, but the rear end is not center. That's center of the car. So I gotta cut this end off, and I'm gonna weld the bolt to the back side of this, cut these off short. So it'll look nice and neat, and I'll paint it and all that stuff. It'll be good when I'm done. But then the pump is gonna hang right here. Let me find the pump. Where did I put that stupid thing? Oh, it's over here. The pump will hang suspended with these brackets and the isolator, so it will not be noisy. It will hang right there just like that. And it'll come out of the tank into it, and then out and up to the filter, and then up to the rest of the deal. So that's what I'm doing. That's the best way, the absolute best way to run this, to where it'll never starve for fuel, it won't lose prime, it'll be good all the time. So, and this point on this suspension is not being used for nothing, so should work fantastic. It'll be far better than it's ever been. New pump's supposed to be here tomorrow, so get all this done today, get the lines and stuff made, we'll be set and ready. All right, see how that goes through, and the studs are welded through, so you can just throw the Makita on her and tighten her down. Now this, let me set this down. See, then this goes just like that. Outlet, inlet, work good. So whenever you need to change that pump, just disconnect the wires, drop it out of there and swap it and put it back in. Pretty easy. Okay. So here we go. We come into the filter right here. Lines go back, turn up. Got to cut that ground off because that's not used no more. They go up. With the wiring, everything goes up, goes across, up there, comes and turns down right here. It's going to go, this is the exit of the pump, the pressurized side. This is the feed side. Right there is the outlet of the tank. It goes whoop. This is going to be cut a little shorter. I'm just waiting for the pump to show up before I slide that on there, because once you slide that on, man, you got to cut it to get it back off. So, but that's where everything's at, and it doesn't look like it's center of the rear end, but the rear end of this car is not center. That is center of the tank, and then center of the car, and center of everything. So rear end is offset. That's just the way these things are. They're like ½ inch offset. But there's the pump. That's how she's going to be. I'm going to have spade connectors in this, so they go click, click, disconnect quickly. Take those two nuts loose and drop the whole bracket out and change the pump on the side road if you got to. Shouldn't even have to jack up the car. Well, I grounded this sending unit when I was doing all the other stuff before. I'm gonna put my light. I'll just turn the light on the phone. It don't do no good to ground it if there ain't a wire going to the positive on the sender. So I need to connect to that, run it up, and then run it up where it needs to go. So that's why the sending unit never worked, even if you did ground it. Ain't no wire connected to it. See the pole? So I'll fix that. I decided to drop the tank. So I'll just drop it down, because not being able to see the fuel level sucks. It's very, very annoying. So I'll fix it. All right, I went ahead and painted this. Painted the breather and the bottom. So now it'll match. Look good. Well, I went and got 5 gallons of 93 for Tracy's Camaro. I tell you what, the fuel neck on a 69 Camaro is about stupid. Like, you can't even get a funnel. Like, this whole thing needs to be down further. I loosened the tank and moved it around a little bit, and that's kind of just where it's at. It's crazy. You can't get a funnel in right there, so I had to use a little pump. I got it all but about, probably half a gallon still in there, not much. The pump has arrived. This is the GSL 396. See, so it's a much more heavy duty pump than the 392. So I'm gonna take the fittings out of the 392 and put in this and wire her up. All right, and you always want to mount these pumps with a positive up. That's how you want to do them. Positive facing up. Just like how I had this one. See where I put the blue on it? Positive up. All right, there is the new pump installed. Comes out of the tank straight to the pump. Pump is lower than the gas level, than the fuel level in the tank, so it will not have a problem pulling fuel. And then it'll push it up, right up everything, up through the filter, up to the rest. And we'll fix this Tesla here in just a second. Got to put a new battery in the car. But yeah, we're going to test everything for leaks. All right, she is locked down and secure now. Awesome. Had to go get a longer bolt. I didn't have none that was the correct. That's a 1/2 inch head, which I believe is a 5/16 thread. I had to run down to Ace Hardware and grab one of them, about that long, because I didn't have none. But she's in there now, and ain't going nowhere. No more bungee cord. We can do away with bungee cord. Just as they come in and you open that hood for the first time, hopefully this is closing this one's hood for the last time. Since I fixed everything, works good. Battery, everything. Fuel pump, lines, wiring, wired the sending unit, wired the gate. Been a lot of work on this car. So let's close her up and back her out. Pretty awesome right there, pretty awesome. All right, there it is. That's the last touch. I usually always put them right yonder. That's what's on my car, Camaro, Dennis's cars, Dad's truck. We got one of these stickers on everything. Anything I put my hands on, really put a lot of work into. I always throw a decal on it. So I'm not sure where he wants it, if he wants it there or not, so I'll just stick it in there with some tape and he can figure out where he wants to put it, but he gets one. Ain't many folks got one. Not as many. It's kind of a special thing. So, pretty cool. I'll put some tape on it and stick it to his dash. He can put it where he wants. All right, he was about to leave and I had to just emergency put a ground on the alternator because the thing wasn't charging right. So, now it's charging. If everybody don't know, that's Tracy in all his glory. And there's his pain ass wife. Oh, I'm kidding. She's not a pain. Oh, all right then, cool.